ESPN is your NBA destination. Tomorrow night, ESPN shoots a doubleheader. First at 8 Eastern, Tim Duncan and the Spurs face Joe Johnson and the Hawks. Then at 10:30 Eastern, Brandon Roy and the Trailblazers take on Steve Nash and the Suns. It's an NBA special edition on ESPN and ESPN360.com tomorrow. Just past halfway here at Bristol Motor Speedway, Casey Kane gave up the lead to Carl Edwards just before the fourth caution flag waved. Edwards is out in front of Scott Wimmer, Kyle Busch, Kelly Byers, and Brad Keselowski, while Kane has been on pit road trying to get an overheating problem cured on his car, and he has fallen well back into the field. Let's check out what they've been trying to do to help that 38 car. For that, we go... first, let's show you what they've been doing under the hood on pit road.
It looks like the grill's all clogged up a little bit. They got to put a little water in this thing right now to cool it down, and that's what they're doing also, because the water temperature gauge is buried in this car of his, and so they're cooling it off, getting the grill fixed. Need to take a little time now, but don't get lapped on the racetrack. That's what they're paying attention to right now. Looks like they're going to close the hood here in a second and get them back out there. I'd probably come back in, though, and try to address this thing again, Brad.
Yeah, it looks like it'd be the best thing to do, especially as they're pumping that cold water into that race car, trying to cool that motor off.
Let's get a little more idea of what they're doing under the hood. We go to our Craftsman Tech Garage. Tim Brewer's show and tell time. Tim?
Thanks, Alan. What they're trying to do, folks, is replenish the water supply. By using the cool-down system, the water's actually pumped in. And, Brad, to answer your question, they actually pump the cold water into the radiator first to keep from hurting the engine. See the flapper valve right here? But after they get it full, they've got a sight tube right here that tells them that they have adequate water in the system, but they still have to go back and put a little charge of nitrogen to it to put pressure back on the system to make sure that the engine's cooled properly. Marty?
All right, thanks, Tim. And there is Casey Kane, as he is shown now in 25th position. We can tell you Kenny Wallace got the lucky dog as he gets back on the lead lap. We have 27 cars now on the lead lap. In fact, we also can tell you that the 11 car of Brian Scott has come back out onto the racetrack. He is now 40 laps down. Couple of penalties. Shelby Howard in the 70 and also Eric McClure in the 24, although we did not get clarification yet on what those penalties were for. While we find out those stats, let's also talk about our leader, Dave Burns. All right, obviously a minor glitch with Dave. We'll find out as soon as we can from him. It is Carl Edwards up front with Wimmer second, Busch, Kyle Busch third, Kelly Byers fourth, Brad Keselowski fifth, Greg Biffle in sixth, Joey Logano seventh. Then it's Brendan Gaughan, Justin Allgaier, Kevin Harvick rounding out your top 10. Pace car pulls down off of turn 4, and again the race leader has selected the outside lane. Green flag flies. We're back to racing here at Bristol.
I think Kelly Byers is seeing this as his opportunity to get his car up into that second spot again.
Boy, Carl Edwards pulls out quickly on Kelly Byers. We can tell you the 70 was for a rolling tire on Shelby Howard. 24, Eric McClure, improper fueling. So that gets you updated on everything. We're back to the racing out on the track. And boy, Carl's trying to hide. I don't think he's going to be too successful after a while, but he's got a good start going right now. Greg Biffle in third, Kyle Busch in fourth. And Wimmer's getting past.
Yeah, Wimmer's caught down on that inside like we saw Joey Logano earlier. It seems like he's really paid the price when you can't get up in that outside groove.
Yeah, he's going to go from second all the way down to, well, another lap. He's going to be outside the top 10 at this pace.
Yeah, and that's one thing that hampered Kyle Busch on this restart is he had to start on the inside. He's got himself back to the 4th spot now, but he sees Carl Edwards driving away a little bit as he has traffic between them.
Harvick taking a look underneath the 62 of Brendan Gaughan. Thinks better of it at that moment. Here he goes again.
We've seen a lot of guys trying to make these pass on the inside, but it's been very, very difficult. I think the combination of the tire and that safer barrier being moved in is making these passes on the exit much more difficult. Yeah, you see these teammates, these Penske teammates racing each other now. Justin Allgaier on the inside of Brad Keselowski.
And that
racing
is
each other hard.
That's for 8th on the racetrack as we go on board with Justin. That is Wimmer right in front of him. And a whole lot of discount tire beside him.
Yeah, you see the 12 car make that pass on the inside. He's going to try to move up there and do the same thing to Scott Wimmer, but that's pretty impressive.
Battle for second place as it's Kelly Byers and Greg Biffle. And Byers trying to hang on. Biffle trying to cut underneath him. Can't get it done there. Justin Allgaier underneath on the right side of your screen. Scott Wimmer. That also for position. That is for 7th on the racetrack.
So Justin Allgaier able to make that pass on Scott Wimmer.
Here comes Logano on the high side, but he's going to have to deal with Wimmer as Keselowski still is underneath the 7. Kyle Busch has now gotten into this 3-car mix on the left side of your screen.
Yeah, Biffle tried to drive it into turn 3 really hard and was going to try to put a slide job, but he didn't get quite far enough in front of Kelly Byers.
Yeah, he might pay the price right here if he can't make this pass because he's got Kyle Busch right behind him.
Well, Kelly Byers, last time he pitted was on lap 55. And we are working lap 143.
Yeah, that's the same lap that Scott Wimmer pitted on in the 7 car. And you see now he's under attack by some cars with fresher tires. Joey Logano now starting to move forward.
Biff was just not able to make that run off the corner where he's having to pedal the throttle a little bit. But Kelly Byers can jump in the gas and use all of that engine on the exit of the corner. Dave?
And guys, this is not his first time racing here, but in talking with Kelly about running this track this weekend, he said, you know what, this is the first time I've been in a truly competitive race car, and I can't wait to start it. Remember, his day didn't start so well, but they've got it together now, and so far, that little piece that was dangling off causing no trouble, just a piece of trim, and NASCAR's not going to make them.
Kyle Busch gets into the 88.
Boy, Kyle turns him, and he's going to hit the wall. And we now have our 5th
Kelly,
caution.
the whole field's coming here. Hold the brakes. They're all going to go low. That's the 18. Just turned it. No reason.
No reason other than it's Bristol, and sometimes the guy behind gets
He's
in the
faster.
gas quicker, and you know
Yeah.
you just get to the gas and you expect that guy to be moving on.
That is really one of the big disadvantages of trying to run out there on tires that are not as good as the cars around you and taking that track position. You're vulnerable for this, and you got faster cars behind you. Sometimes you get run over.
So as we
Still a
said,
bad break, though.
caution waves once again as we get closer to the midway point, working lap 147. And the 73 of Derek Cope will get the lucky dog this time around. And that will bring us back to 28 cars on the lead lap.
That Carl Edwards makes a dive for pit road. So does Kyle Busch. All the leaders coming. A lot of the leaders. Some of them stayed out. Looks
Yep.
like Greg Biffle staying out.
Biffle is
Brendan
staying
Gaughan.
out. Brendan Gaughan stays out. So does Justin Allgaier and Brad Keselowski.
I'd have to say these guys that have hit pit road now are thinking this is their last pit stop of the day.
Jamie, what's going on with the 7?
Well, Scott Wimmer finally able to pit. He wanted to come in last time, but Pop Zuri Sr., his crew chief, said no, if we stay out a couple more laps, we'll be able to make it to the end. That is the plan. 4 tires. The car is actually really good. Those old tires hurt him earlier, Dave.
And talking strategy with crew chief Drew this morning, he wasn't sure if he pitted this early that he might not stop one more time. Carl overshoots. That's going to cost time, but under these circumstances, it's not as big a deal. They'll take on 4 tires, no chassis adjustments to it this time. He's pretty close to the wall, too, so they're having a little trouble. And now a lot of confusion as they're just going to take 2 and get out of Dodge. Stock.
Half a round up on the track bar for Kyle Busch. Remember the air pressure the time before? He said the car got tight, enter and off, and it would not roll the middle of the corner. They figure a half a round up may be just perfect if he can hang in that top lane.
And our nationwide insurance race off pit road. You can see Kevin Harvick's crew doing a good job for him today. He's been critical of him in the past. He picks up 1 spot as Kyle drops 1. And Carl Edwards comes back out right where he went in. So we'll take a quick break as we're under caution here at Bristol and take this message and a word from our ABC stations.